Welcome to this year's virtual Alumni Award ceremony presented by the St. Andrews Alumni Council. Certainly, this is not an ideal way to do an award ceremony, but it's a heck of a lot better than last year when we didn't meet. So this was the only way that we felt comfortable to do it this year. And hopefully next year we will get back together. I'm Greg Stupinski. I'm the class of 1993 and currently the St. Andrews Alumni Council Vice President. Tonight we're going to be recognizing Alumni Council members who are going to be rotating off the Alumni Council after multiple years of service and welcoming the new members who were elected this past spring. We'll also be presenting several awards, including the Distinguished Merit and the Distinguished Alumni Awards, and we're going to be honor two new inductees into the recently reinstated St. Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame. As you know, these honors are typically awarded on the Friday night dinner and award ceremony during Alumni Weekend, but both celebrations for 2020 and 2021 were canceled, as you know, due to the COVID pandemic. Crazy year, but the Alumni Council did not want to delay the announcement of these awards any further, and so we decided we would hold the ceremony here tonight during Virtual Alumni Week. We're grateful that we can all gather here tonight, even if it's from a distance, to honor the well-deserved recipients that will be spoken about today and tonight. However, we do hope that to honor them once again in person in Alumni Weekend 2022. So for those of you who are not thinking about coming next year, please think about coming next year in person. Due to a scheduling conflict, we're going to go out of our usual order for the ceremony tonight. And I'm going to invite Alumni Council Secretary Joy Berry, class of 1992, to make the introductions. Thanks, Joy.
I keep forgetting that's what I do for the Alumni Council. Hey, everybody, happy to be here. Glad to, I'm scrolling through the list of attendees. So happy to see you, folks from all kinds of classes out here tonight. Like Greg said, I'm the class of 92, which was just a few years ago. And I'm happy to introduce, as the Distinguished Merit Alumni Award winner, Dr. Catherine Naylands. If you graduated when I graduated, or maybe even a year around me, you probably had Dr. Naylands for maybe a SAGE class. I did, and I remember her being not only funny and engaging, but also very exacting. Dr. Naylands taught Romance languages at St. Andrews from 1961 to 1998. She was originally hired as a professor at Flora MacDonald College in 1958, and she transitioned to St. Andrews when it opened in 61. She taught French and Spanish, as well as a lot of literature courses. I think the SAGE class I had was literature-based, which was good because that was my major. She chaired committees. She served as the head of the humanities division. And as you see here in the picture on the right, she was also the college marshal. One of my memories is her carrying that mace thing around. After she retired, she was named Professor Emerita to honor her many years of dedicated service to the college. Always a scholar, Dr. Naylands furthered her intellectual career through sabbatical studies in France, Spain, and Quebec. She also served as a visiting professor at the University of Cuenca, which was in Ecuador, an exchange program. If you graduated near me, you remember there was a pretty decent sized group of students from Ecuador who came onto the campus, and she had a hand in that. International travels were a hallmark of her life. Outside of her scholarly interest and teaching, Dr. Naylands' hobbies included birds and bread baking. Some alumni who might have been at the college in the 70s took a winter term course with her called, well, she wrote a book for it, called Whole Bread Catalog, You Need It, with a K, a collection of quotations, comments, and helpful hints for and about making bread. And there were more than 60 recipes in there. I would love it if somebody would like raise their hand to say that they have this book or they took that class, because that sounds wonderful. Perhaps her greatest pastime was reading. As a prolific reader, Dr. Naylands read text in Spanish, English, and French. Her retirement years at Scotia Village, just across the campus, provided ample time to spend time reading books by French, Spanish, South American, and Canadian authors, along with her other interest in nature and cooking and more. She never owned a television. I feel like I should say that again. Dr. Naylands never owned a television, which is fabulous. She always had a book in her hand, a true bibliophile. Sadly, Dr. Naylands passed away on September 7th, 2020 at the age of 90. The Alumni Council would like to present this award, the Distinguished Merit Award, to her family in her memory. Some of her family members are with us tonight, and I'm not going to scroll up to see who's on the call, but Nancy Naylands is Dr. Nayland's niece from St. Simons, Georgia. Susan Nayland Johnson and her husband, Tony Johnson, live in Lafayette, Louisiana, and she is Dr. Nayland's niece. And then William Nayland is a nephew who lives in Keystone Heights, Florida. Mary McDonald, for those of you who have not been back to campus, there is this amazing woman in the library, Mary McDonald, who has access to some amazing archives, which includes wonderful pictures like the ones you're seeing here, as well as facts and figures on people who have been special to the campus. So thanks to Mary for pulling this together. Thank you to the Naylands family for being with us and for sharing your aunt with us for all those years. Back to you, Greg.
All right. Are we going to go to the other one?
We should. Do I have the other one? I don't have the other one, do I, Alex? Or do I?
Yes, please.
I do.
And you have who will be introducing the next one.
Right.
Go it to Mr. Pete Peary.
Ooh, Pete Peary is here. Charlotte and Montreat fans will know who Pete Peary is. Should I say what he's saying or should I just let him start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, wait, hang on. I'm a little behind. I think I read I read half of what you sent me and not the rest of it.
So I'll tell you what we'll do, Joy, what I'll do is Pete's on the phone, right? Or
Yep.
on the Zoom.
Yes.
I see him.
I am here.
Okay, so Pete, class of 1969, he's going to introduce the 2020 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. So Pete, I'll turn it right over to you.
Thank you, Greg, and thank
Thank you,
Greg,
Greg.
and thank you, Joy. I have the high honor of introducing this year's recipient of the St. Andrews Distinguished Alumni Award. That recipient is the first St. Andrews graduate to serve as president of this university. He is also the longest serving president in the history of the school. He is the now retired president, Paul Baldessare, class of 1977. Something unexpected happened to Paul Baldessare. He left Atlanta, his hometown, in the late summer of 1973 in his Fiat convertible. I mean, what other kind of car would you drive with a name like Baldessare? He was a tennis player, a top student, confident, maybe a bit cocky, even if he knew nothing about how to take care of his snazzy car. He arrived at St. Andrews ready for college, and something happened. The college he entered was not what he expected. For what 18-year-old knows what a liberal education is? Yet St. Andrews' particular form of liberal education, a way of becoming shaped as a human being rather than only digesting a body of knowledge or skills for a career, happened to Paul. Art, philosophy, drama, language, history, religion, economics, social as well as natural sciences, not separated in silos, but all messed up together as they are frankly in life, washed over and through Paul, stretching his mind, expanding his worldview, challenging his ethic, yes, even shaking the ground of his being. That experience, plus the encounter with some wonderful, yet at times rather odd people who made up the St. Andrews community, able-bodied and not so able-bodied, molded this confident and extremely capable young man in ways beyond his imagining. While a student at St. Andrews, Paul thrived as a scholar, played on the tennis team, was a disc jockey at WSAP, served as president of the student body, had a workship as an assistant to the president, Bun Perkinson, and I am told from a trusted source, kissed but never told. He left St. Andrews and went to law school at Chapel Hill. There he met and married a lawyer even more sharp than he, Jane Weddick. Together they had 2 children, Gabe and Leah, who are now going about changing this world for good. After law school, with a partner, he formed a successful law firm. Then he joined the staff of Dr. Paul Hardin, Chancellor of the University of North Carolina, and worked as a development officer in a capital campaign that raised $440 million. In the midst of this, Paul agreed to serve on the board of trustees of St. Andrews, something for which he likely did not have time. But because St. Andrews had so shaped him, he chose to do it. Paul was on a career trajectory that would have provided great economic comfort for his life together with Jane and their children. Yet what did he do? He turned his back on that trajectory and came to work for St. Andrews. He gave up his board seat to serve as the college's vice president for institutional advancement, a fancy title with low pay. He didn't have to do this, but he did. And he raised more money than any other development officer in the college's history. When a major crisis of leadership, and I want you to know major crisis, happened and a new president had to be found, or the college faced extinction, Paul was asked, almost forced to take the helm. He did not seek this. To take the presidency meant that there would be a huge sacrifice demanded of the whole Baldassare family. Frankly, the viability of the college was so frail, no sane person would take on such a task. The pay was probably the lowest for any president of any accredited institution of higher learning in the state, perhaps in the nation. And throughout his tenure, that pay stayed at that low level. Paul didn't have to do this, but he did. And because he did, St. Andrews survived, yes, and was in a sense resurrected. I am utterly certain that if Paul Baldassare had not taken on this challenge of serving as the president of St. Andrews, this university would be gone. We gather this night as the St. Andrews community because Paul accepted the call to serve this institution, something he didn't have to do. At an important point in his life, Paul Baldassare made a promise to serve the people with energy, intelligence, imagination, and love. It is a promise he made when he was ordained as a ruling elder in the Presbyterian Church USA, an office he still holds. I think the roots of his understanding of his calling to serve the people with energy, intelligence, imagination, and love were planted and nurtured in him during his St. Andrews experience of liberal, boundary transcending education. And I'm pretty sure it was this calling, a divine calling, I would say, that propelled Paul to do what he did. For Paul treasured the way St. Andrews shaped him. And I believe Paul knows in the core of his being that as this university maintains its core values of being a progressive and open place, a place of liberal learning reflecting the best of the Reformed Presbyterian tradition, a place striving not only to endow persons with skills to earn a living, but with minds and hearts and souls and imaginations to thrive as human beings, a place that calls its students to serve all God's people, working for the well-being of the world. St. Andrews will continue to transform students as it transformed Paul, and graduates will leave to be ones who indeed go out to serve the people with energy, intelligence, imagination, and love. Because of what he has done in service to St. Andrews, no one deserves this award more than Paul Baldassare.
Yes, Pete, thank you so much for that. That was amazing. And listen, Paul's amazing. So the fact is, and just to kind of step back, the Distinguished Alumni Award is someone who distinguished themselves through their professional accomplishments, community service, personal life commitments, and dedication to St. Andrews. And for all of what Pete just mentioned, Paul exhibits all of that. And I've gotten to know Paul the last few years well. and he's done an amazing job for St. Andrews. So thank you, Paul, for all of that. I do know that that Paul is currently visiting his daughter in Austin. Is that right, Paul?
That's correct. I
Okay.
just literally just arrived about 5 minutes ago.
Well, thank you for getting on. I don't know if you want to say anything, but but certainly Pete certainly said a lot about you. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I guess what I would say is between my wife, my family, and all of you, there's so many people who probably wonder who Pete's talking about because no one person can do all the things that Pete suggested. I was blessed with having a fantastic board of trustees throughout my tenure, both as a vice president for advancement, but also as the president. And Pete, of course, chaired our board for a period of time, during a critical period of time, and provided great leadership and direction and guidance for me, as did so many others on the board. Also blessed with great staff and faculty at St. Andrews who were supportive through thick and thin the whole way. And it would have been time for many of them to walk away during some of the really low points, and they hung in there, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm also grateful for this recognition and deeply appreciate it. The Alumni Council, which chooses the person for this, has been a great group of people for me to work with over the years, and it's a constantly changing group of folks. And the group that you have today, I think, holds St. Andrews in the right place, and I'm confident that the work that y'all are doing will yield benefits for St. Andrews going forward. And I'm grateful to all of you who, current and past Alumni Council members, for this recognition. I'm honored and grateful for all of the many ways in which I've been supported in my leadership at St. Andrews, and I look forward to continuing to be a part of it as an alum. So many thanks to all of you.
Great. Thank you, Paul, for that, and thank you for everything you've done for the college. It's been truly amazing, and we can't thank you enough for making St. Andrews what it is and keeping it. So thank you. So I guess we're going to let Paul go and enjoy visit his daughter, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. So enjoy, Paul, and I will. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. I look forward to it, and thank all of you. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, buddy.
Really nice, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So next, we're very excited to present two new inductees into the St. Andrews Hall of Fame. The Athletic Hall of Fame recognizes individuals who've demonstrated outstanding achievements in support of the athletic department and intercollegiate programs at St. Andrews, Presbyterian Junior College, and Flora McDonald College. I'm excited to announce the 2020 St. Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame inductees who are here with us tonight. Mrs. Stephanie Liddell Means, St. Andrews women's soccer player in class of 1995. And I had the chance of actually watching her play, and it's truly amazing. She was an amazing player. And Mr. Charles Daly, St. Andrews men's baseball player in class of 1976. First, I want to bring up Mr. Matthew McKilwee, who I actually played with in college and was very good friends with him and still am. St. Andrews alumnus class of 1992 to the podium to introduce Stephanie and her wonderful achievements. So Maddie, I guess I can call you Maddie. I'll turn it over to Maddie now.
Good evening, everybody. I don't think I can follow up what Pete said about Paul, but Stephanie is one of my very best friends. She's like a little sister. She's one of my little sisters. She played at St. Andrews. She came to St. Andrews in 1991, followed her sister Haley there. The women's soccer team, Stephanie made it something special for the 4 years she was there. Words cannot express. She's a student athlete. If you never met Stephanie, her academic achievements are just as impressive as her athletic achievements. The list goes on and on. I mean, she was number 2 in all-time goal scoring at St. Andrews. Number 1 is her sister, Haley. She was number 1 in assists. She played in the 1995 Umbro Senior Classic against top players throughout the country. if there was a professional women's soccer league that there was today, she would have been in that league. This is how good this person was. I mean, after she graduated, she played semi-pro for Tampa Bay Extreme. I went to see her play in Rochester in 1998 with my wife. She's just an amazing talent, an amazing person, an amazing student. She's a great mom to her kids. She's a great sister to her sister Haley. Great family member. Words cannot express how proud I am to nominate her. I mean, this morning I had emailed her coach, Lorenzo Canales, to tell him, and he's in Texas, how she got into the Hall of Fame. And he was touched and said she would be such an important asset to the program of being a new member to the Athletic Hall of Fame at St. Andrews. She also played tennis. I mean, she did everything in school. If you saw her, she was a friend to everybody. When she was on the field, she would make everybody a better player. Overall, I am so blessed to know her. She's meant so much to me in my life and to my kids and to my family that I cannot express how proud I am of this day. And I'm going to be so glad to go down next April when COVID's over, hopefully, and we'll all be able to meet again, that I can redo this for her because she is such an amazing person. Hopefully I've put enough words and explained how proud I am of her. And that's about it. So I'm so proud of you, Stephanie. I'm so glad I've known you so long. Back to you, Greg. Enjoy.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Great words. Stephanie, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can say a few words.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see some familiar faces. It's been a long time. First of all, I do want to thank Maddie. If it wasn't for you, I would not be receiving this great honor. Thank you for nominating me. St. Andrews brought you into my life, and I'll be forever grateful. I also want to thank the alumni committee for inducting me into the Hall of Fame as well. My 4 years at St. Andrews were some of the best, most memorable times of my life. I have friends still today that I met at SA and are like family to me. Hi, Laurie. It feels like yesterday that we were all there working hard, but also soaking up all the aspects of college life. The bell tower, the Coswalk, saga, dorm parties, walks of shame, all-nighter studying, extravaganza. We called it Ganza, right? Preseason, all of our sports victories, and more importantly, trying not to get thrown into the lake on your birthday. All of these memories bring a smile to my face. It seems like yesterday since we were there. It's hard to believe it's been 25 years for me. Playing soccer and tennis were obviously a huge part of my time at SA. I couldn't have had the success I did without my teammates and my coaches. Managing studies in sports is not easy, but SA was always supportive and flexible with the student athletes, and that was great. I will never forget the hard work and struggles we faced. They all made us better athletes. We won lots and we lost some tough battles, but our teammates never gave up. And the camaraderie was special at SA. Playing soccer alongside my sister was truly special. She deserves this award as much as me. Meeting my dear friends like Laurie and Maddie, tons of you guys. Stewie, it's so cool to see you. It's been so long. I had to say that because, you are Stewie to me. All this is just the support and the love that we all still share for each other is just wonderful. So really, thank you again for recognizing all my achievements in soccer and tennis during my 4 years. I miss those days, and I wish we could do it all over again. And this Hall of Fame honor is just the icing on the cake of what was an amazing and memorable college experience. So thank you very much, Maddie. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. And hopefully I'll always be Stewie. So.
Hi, Stewie.
And Maddie, thank you so much for actually everything you do and you know what you did for Stephanie and just what you just did now. Great stuff, and it's great. Listen, when I saw the names on this on the Zoom call, I was very excited because I haven't seen a lot of you in a long time. So brings back a lot of memories and all good. So thank you guys, I appreciate that. Next, we're going to bring up Jürgen Sommer. He's going to introduce Charles. Charles is a previous student, Jürgen's a previous student athlete of Charles, and he represented the United States in 2 World Cups. He was one of the first Americans to play in Europe, including the first American in modern times to play at Wembley Stadium. In addition, we also have a few of Charles's players and supporters here tonight who would like to say a few words. We have Troy Corbin, Carl Fleming, Kevin Reifschneider, Jordan Alexio, Keo Sopal. So I'll turn it over to you, Jürgen.
Hey, Greg, thank you very much. Can you guys see me okay and hear me? All right, sounds good. Greg, thank you very much. I'm really proud to be part of the St. Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame, the awards program. I think it's a tremendous accomplishment for Charles Daly. We're really excited about him. I also want to say congratulations to Stephanie Means on her induction into the Hall of Fame. It's a tremendous accomplishment. I love the 1995 tracksuit there, Stephanie. I think I got one of those from my 94 days. I'm not a great tennis player, but pickleball is kind of my game now. My wife's dragged me into that, but we'll get to that later. But congratulations, Stephanie. That's great. Great accomplishment. Congratulations. And I know you will appreciate and enjoy that for many years to come. I'm just going to really touch upon quickly personally what Charles has meant to me. And I know we have Troy Corbin here, Carl Fleming, and Kevin Reifschneider. You know, I'll give them a few more minutes to dive into their experiences with him as a person, as a coach, and at UNC Greensboro, and their accomplishments there for their championship run. So I'm going to try to give them a little bit more time. What's really important for me to share about Charles as a person is, first and foremost, he's a friend and he's a family member. He came into our family in Naples, Florida back in the early 80s, passionate about soccer, a player himself. And I was there many a Saturday and Sunday in men's league games watching him and my dad play and their friends. And they were the leaders of the soccer community in Naples, Florida at that time down in Collier County. And I know the guys on the call will know who I'm talking about when you're talking about Charles Daly, Roger Friesenberg, Rich Locker, folks that pioneered soccer in Naples back in the day. And believe it or not, Naples was a really small town in the late 70s, early 80s. And these guys really put us on the map. And what I found attractive about Charles and his style as a coach and as a leader, nobody can deny his smile, right? You see his smile, it's infectious. He's got a great laugh. He sucks you right in, and he's got tremendous communication skills, and he's so personable. You really just enjoy his company. And I know Troy and Carl will attest to the same. And there's a lot of other guys from the Naples crowd that I know are on the call listening. I'm sorry, guys, I don't have a lot of time to dive into everybody's details because I want to give as much to Charles as possible. But we all loved Charles for the fact that he was just committed to us. He was the one that would always show up. He was always there for practice. He was always there for games. And, he continued to push us and take us to places that we didn't even think we could achieve for ourselves. We were one of the first teams out of Naples or out of Southwest Florida to be a finalist for the AAU finals in St. Louis, roughly around 1984. I think we're a U16 bunch of kids, but he basically took us, cobbled us together and took us all the way to a national platform. Obviously, we're state champions in the state of Florida as well. I'll let Troy talk a little bit more about Barron Collier High School and his coaching experience there and his accomplishments there. But to really take a young group of players, he was so infectious with his coaching. He's a real student of the game. He really, you could tell, is a passion about soccer, loves soccer. I know when I was playing in England, he visited me came to games, training sessions, speaking to other players, coaches. He was always out there as a student of the game. And I think people just appreciated that. And he was such an authentic person and so genuine in his personality. The players just really worked and ran through brick walls for him. I'd compare him a little bit to my experience here at Indiana with Jerry Yeagley. And I know Charles had a big help to me in that, because I was a walk-on here at Indiana, and he helped kick the door open for me to have Jerry just give me the chance to play. So I thank Charles for that every day, because I've had a tremendous experience after that. But just a tremendous person, and again, more of a friend. I'll let the other guys kind of dive into his experiences, and I'll circle back at the end, talk a little bit more about him as a person in the Greensboro community, in the North Carolina community, obviously in the Soccer Hall of Fame there as well, and his ability to give back to the game now that he even continues to do that, whether it's through refereeing at a championship level or volunteering his time as a coach or advisor for the Next Step Forza Academy, which is an international organization that travels to Cambodia and basically spreading the love of the game. So it takes a special person to do that. And it doesn't surprise me that Charles is right there, rubbing elbows with Ryan Giggs and former professional players at the highest level. So Charles, I couldn't be more proud of you. I'm not surprised at all that you've accomplished this and achieved this. I know you had a little bit of baseball in your background too, but you're such a special friend to me and others on this call that we want to say congratulations. Enjoy this moment this evening. Treasure the Hall of Fame. You'll take it with you for the rest of your life. And with that, I'll just introduce Troy Corbin. I'll let Troy speak a little bit. Troy, you there? You might be on mute. Greg, can you hear Troy? Is he there? If not, we'll flip over to Carl Fleming.
I can, so let's do that, Jurgen.
All right. Hey, Carl, you want to jump in and take over a little bit and talk about the Greensboro days?
Absolutely. First and foremost, obviously want to congratulate Charles. What a tremendous honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame at your university. At UNC Greensboro, we affectionately knew Charles as CD, just went by his initials. And he had a tremendous impact on me and my college career at UNC Greensboro, as a coach there, and more importantly, getting me involved in youth soccer coaching and helping me get my first opportunity as a youth soccer coach in Greensboro, North Carolina. And as I sit here 30 plus years later in Houston, Texas, I've taken that first job that Charles provided me in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to make a career out of it. So if Charles hadn't led me down the path of coaching and introduced me to some people in North Carolina after my collegiate soccer career had ended, and thought enough of me as a young player and a young coach at that time to recommend me, probably coaching wouldn't have been in my future. But I really appreciate that he led me down that path and what it's been able to provide for me. We had some tremendous times in Greensboro, some tremendous accomplishments on the field, but more importantly, the relationships that we've all been able to build off the field, right? The games are one thing, but the relationships that we've been able to hold and have off the field. And as I'll echo the same sentiments as Jurgen. Most importantly, Charles has always been a terrific friend, warm-hearted, great spirit, terrific smile, always light up a room, infectious laugh. And I'm just very thankful to have had Charles in my life, and wish him continued success in whatever he chooses to do and as he goes forward. So congratulations, Charles. As Jurgen said, you'll take this with you the rest of your life. It's a tremendous accomplishment and very well deserved.
Thanks, Carl. I think we have Troy unmuted right now, right, Troy?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
No problem. I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Again, My name's Troy Corbin, and I'm from Naples, Florida. I had the good fortune of playing with Jurgen in an under 12 team that won the state championship, probably like in 1980 or something. So that was going way, way back in the early years of youth soccer in Naples. But I had the good fortune to be introduced and meet Coach Daly in 1982 when I was 13 years old. And I played for him all throughout my soccer days. And I would like to think that he followed me to Barron Collier as the high school coach, but maybe it was probably mutual, I would think. But as Yuri said, just to give you an idea of where soccer was in Naples prior to Coach Daly's involvement, soccer was not even a recognized varsity sport in high school in Naples. And under Coach Daly's guidance, Barron Collier went from a school without a soccer team to one of the top programs in the state of Florida. And it kind of culminated in my senior year. And to give you an idea of how dominating we were, I was reminded by Coach Daly that we outscored our opponents 105-9 to that year. What I can tell you about Coach Daly's Barron Collier teams in Naples is that not only were we very well prepared, but I think more importantly, our work ethic was second to none. And I can assure you that his Barron Collier teams would never be outworked. It's been almost 30 years since I played for Coach Daly. His influence and impact on my life as an impressionable teenager was immeasurable. He was a big part of my family's life and my life, and I can't begin to express my appreciation in 60 seconds. I, along with my parents, all the youth players in Naples, and your players at Barron Collier are forever grateful. You had a very positive impact on many, and this award is very well deserved. Coach Daly, thank you, and I'm very humbled that you selected me to be your one player from Barron Collier. And I can say that now that I played for a Hall of Fame coach. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Troy. I guess I'll quarterback this. Jurgen, did you want to keep introducing? Okay,
Hey, Greg.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest Kevin next.
Yep. So Kevin, turn over to you.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. My name's Kevin Reichschneider. I was privileged enough to have formerly played and was captain for both University of North Carolina at Greensboro and the Greensboro Buccaneers Soccer Club. Charles Daly was the coach of both these teams during these times. I've since known Charles for 33 years and echo the sentiments of everyone in terms of him personally, even more than professionally. I sincerely appreciate our continued friendship today. And that being said, I'm humbled to be included in honoring him this evening. There were many great attributes to use when I was going to describe Charles as a coach in person, things like his attention to detail, his caring and respect for the players and the game, his cerebral approach at times in competitive, emotionally stressful situations. He always kept his cool, is very good with that, and a passion for the game. But I kept coming back to one thing, and that was more than anything else is Charles' ability to connect with players. He never tried to change a player or make them something different than what they were or break them down. He would instead take the best players' assets and maximize them, encourage them, and get the absolute most out of their abilities for the best of the individual and the team. Not an easy task. To me, this was a mark of a great coach, one that doesn't lead by managing, but instead by inspiring. And to me, Charles was the definition of that. I just want to say congrats, Coach, on this impressive and well-deserved honor of this induction. And also want to congratulate Stephanie as well. Congrats to great alumni and all the best to you guys in the future. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. Jordan, you're next.
Oh, guys, how's it going?
Good.
All right, so my name is Jordan Alexia. I'm 18 years old, and I'm one of the greatest former players. I just finished my high school soccer season as top scorer for my team, and right now I'm currently playing for a club called Carolina Velocity. I remember first meeting Daly my sophomore year of high school. He became the coach of our soccer men's soccer team. Ever since he's been coaching with Scarlett, we got better and better every season, and Coach Daly has definitely made a huge difference for us, and we're grateful for that. And Coach Daly has also really helped me improve and grow as a player, and he's taught me many things that'll carry on with me, and not just things on the field, but also things carry off the field. So I thank Coach Daly for everything you've done for me, and yeah, I'm grateful for it. Thank you so much.
Great, Jordan. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. And lastly, I'll turn it over to Keo, and then after Keo's done, Jürgen, you can take it back to turn it over to Charles.
Hey, Greg, I need to make that correction because that was my fault. This will be So Paul in speaking next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That was my fault.
Thanks. So Paul, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Sopal, and I am a professional football player in Cambodia. And first of all, it's a great honor for me to be part of the shoot event here. And it's good morning from here, Cambodia. Maybe good morning from you guys in the evening from you guys. And first of all, I would like to say congratulations to Charlie Daly. It was very great time to meet him. And what I would like to say about him, if we flash back to 2014, when he came to watch our game, and he got involved in academy, and that everyone in Siem Reap, and we really appreciate him and contribute him to soccer, and that he have enjoyed having him over. And he also working with the goalkeeper as in our academy as well. And I remember when first time we won the Tiger Street Cup together in 2016. It was a great memory that we can't ever forget. So he's a really friendly, helpful, and motivates, and always push us. He's so much more with us and as players, and we can't describe more that he has. We really appreciate his time with us, and also thank you for selecting me one of the member here. And we are looking forward to seeing him one time again soon in Cambodia. Hopefully everything will be better back to normal after the this crisis of COVID. So thank you, Charlie Daly. We love you, and we are looking for you to come back in Cambodia one time when we finish the COVID. So that's all for me. Take care for everyone. Thank you.
So Jürgen, over to you to introduce Charles.
Hey, Greg, thank you very much. I'll wrap things up here. And again, Greg, thank you for having all of us on the St. Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame program this evening. We've all really enjoyed ourselves. A little bit of a throwback to enjoy some good laughs and stories with Charles. So, Fall, thanks for joining us from Cambodia. Jordan, Kevin, Carl, Troy, thank you for your input. And all the other friends, family, players that are watching on the Zoom call, thank you very much. And I think in closing, I think we all feel that Charles is just part of our family. He's just an extension of everybody's family. He's played such a, infectious role in our lives, passionate about the game of soccer, instilling that work ethic in all of us to continue to achieve and enjoy the game at the highest levels that we can. He definitely did that for me, especially after my father's passing while I was still at IU. He really stayed connected with me, connected about the game, personally about my family, and has always stayed in touch. And I think that's what just makes him such an authentic individual. I've enjoyed a lot of accomplishments in the game of soccer, and a lot of it is due to the support of family and friends, and nothing is more meaningful than close family and friends from home. And Charles has done that for all of us over the years. So Charles, congratulations, a great accomplishment. Enjoy being in the Hall of Fame with Stephanie, and you're a class act, and we thank you for everything you've done for us as kids, adults, and professionals in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm checking to see if I'm on. Can people hear me? Good. I just wanted to thank everyone who spoke. It was a wonderful honor, and I'm very grateful for how nicely you hold me. That is an honor, as well as going into the Hall of Fame. And I have probably 4 or 5 other players who are watching this who could have very easily been asked to speak and who would have done a great job. And as a coach, certainly I'm grateful for all of the great players I coached and everyone who helped me along the way. It was, this is not an honor that you get by yourself. And I just wanted to briefly share a couple of details. I think I was a freshman, and one of my suite mates came running through the dorm saying they needed players to play intramural soccer. And we were playing against Mecklenburg dorm, and I didn't know anything about soccer, but I knew I wanted to beat Mecklenburg dorm. And I started the whole game at right back, and we beat them 2-0. And I played a bit of intramural soccer on and off through college and enjoyed it. And the other story I would say is I again, my freshman year, the baseball team had started practicing. And I looked out my dorm window and saw they only had 15 players. So I called the coach, and I said I didn't play high school baseball, but I would like to maybe try out, and I thought I could help him. And he said, come on out, we'd love to have you. And I played baseball for 3 years there, and I got a varsity letter my sophomore year. And it was quite an accomplishment. I enjoyed the team, enjoyed the individuals. A couple of my teammates are on here now, including Riley Irwin. And he was a great player. And anyway, as you can tell, this is not really a typical entree to a Hall of Fame induction, because I was more of a participant than a star. But I enjoyed participating, and it was something I learned at St. Andrews, was you never know what opportunity will come. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity in Naples to get started. It was pretty much on the ground floor, grassroots type thing, and we kind of emerged with a wonderful group of players who, many of which went on and played Division I soccer. And we were basically 2.5 hours south of Tampa, 2 hours west of Miami. It was pretty unusual, but a lot of fun. And I'm grateful to Coach Parker, who hired me to come to UNC Greensboro, where I spent 3 years and was a part of that storied program, winning some national championships, and met some great players and people like Carl. Anyway, I'm honored by this, and very touched by what everyone had to say. And I would also say the early stories about St. Andrews was kind of how St. Andrews rolled back then. And I would mention that just jumping in when I saw an opening, I just followed my heart, and it was a good thing. I learned that at St. Andrews, and get involved and stay involved, and good things will happen. I'd like to thank everyone who spoke for me, particularly Paul. It's 5:30 in the morning in Cambodia, and he's a professional player with a schedule, and he's 24 years old, so it's early Saturday morning there. But everyone who's on here for me, I'm grateful to you, and I carry you with me and represent you as well as myself wherever I go. Thank you, Jürgen. That's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Charles. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, Jürgen, and all of Charles' players who spoke. It's amazing that, listening to all of you, how inspirational, but you all are. And it's amazing what a good leader, what a good coach can do in making a difference in people's lives. And Charles, I don't think I'm stretching, but you probably learned a lot of that at St. Andrews, and I know I did. So thank you for everything that you've just said, and congratulations to both you and Stephanie for actually being inducted tonight. Certainly well deserved, and really just congratulations on that. So I want to go back and see if Nancy actually would like to say a few words. So we're kind of backtracking a little bit. Not perfect in the Zoom world, but that's how it works. So Nancy, are you on?
I think Susan Nalins is here tonight as well.
Okay.
If Nancy can't get unmuted, or if they don't want to, that's okay too.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure they had an opportunity to speak.
Absolutely.
Nancy, we were asking you, you were asked to speak.
We can always go back to Greg. Let's see.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
All right, I'll just move on. And by the way, guys, I actually spent 10 years in Naples, so I know Baron Collier well in my recent past, and a tremendous squad down there. Great soccer now. I mean, I actually played in an over 40 league, way above my, way ahead of my skis, but a lot of good players down there. So congrats on that. All right, so we're gonna, before we move on to the live auction tonight.
Greg, I see that Nancy is unmuted. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Interrupt. I just didn't know if she wants to speak.
Hello, thank you very much for what you have done for our Aunt Catherine here. She would be so pleased and so happy. When I was growing up, she was such a wonderful influence on me. When I finished 10th grade, I went to a St. Andrews program, summer program that lasted about 6 weeks. It was a personal enrichment program, and it had a big impact on my college life afterwards. It gave me the push that I needed to go. It gave me the confidence that I needed. I graduated in medical records administration from the Medical College of Georgia in 1975. I was the oldest niece from her oldest brother, and my mother and father and Aunt Catherine and my sister and I, we had some very nice opportunities together to visit one another. And over the years, when she was at Scotia, I went every year with my mother, and I went every year to visit her. Anyway, she just loved foreign languages and romance, of course. Languages were her forte. She spoke Portuguese, Italian, French, and Spanish. A lot of people do not realize that she could also speak Italian and Portuguese. And she just inspired interest in foreign languages in our family. My daughter is actually a linguistics major from Georgia State, and a lot of it, she just seems to have the knack for foreign languages that Aunt Catherine had. My son speaks fluent Spanish and lives in California, and it has come in very handy with his job at the Naval Hospital in San Diego. So we just really have loved her so much, and she's done so much for us over the years. And if Philip Carey is still on, maybe he would like to say something.
I'm a 1965 graduate of St. Andrews, and it speaks for the quality of St. Andrews that I was in touch with Catherine the rest of my life. I'm now 78. She died at 90. I was in the Army service in the 60s, and she stayed in touch and sent me some subscriptions for, I was in an isolated post. She sent me a subscription to a magazine. It was very nice. And actually, I was in attendance to her in the retirement home where she lived next door to St. Andrews. Is an enormous retirement home named Scotia Village, and that's where she ended her life. And the last few years, I was visiting her pretty regularly, even so late. That was 50 years ago. I was a student. I lived in France, and I'm a French major. And I lived in France back in 2006, and she came over to visit me there. It was really cool to be a student at St. Andrews, and your old professor comes to see you. Hope that speaks well for the school.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Philip. Dr. Nalins was a true lady, maybe one of the few on campus at the time. I think she was a bit of a role model for those of us who were wearing torn up clothes and rolling out of bed, going to class. Thank you so much. Thanks for speaking. Again, I'm Joy Berry. I'm going to wrap us up here tonight before we move on to the silent auction and a live auction. In case you did not know, yes, indeed, there is a live auction happening right after this. Thank you to Jurgen and the players who supported Charles, and to Maddie McElwee and Greg and Stephanie and Charles and everyone for being on the phone tonight. This is a weird way to do this. We canceled it obviously last year, and so we pulled these awards into this year. So thank you for coming. I hope that doing it via Zoom actually made it possible for more people to attend who might not have been able to get back to campus. So thanks for being here. On behalf of the Alumni Council, we've got some folks rolling off. This spring meeting is the meeting where you sort of enter and exit the council at the same time, if that's what your tenure says. So rolling off this spring are Chris and Jesse Seitkin, who are from the class of 2004, Lane Custer Ducker from the class of 69, and and a few more folks. But anyway, thank you for your continued support. This council is a special thing to do. We appreciate it. It means driving back to campus when there's not a pandemic, obviously. It means showing up for meetings online. It means signing off on documentation, reading things. It means negotiating and sometimes even arguing. So thank you for everyone who served on the council and for these three folks who are rolling off. Huge thanks. Next, we're going to welcome some members to the council. No matter how wild and fun things get, there's always people who seem to want to come on and help us out. And again, if you're interested in being a member of the Alumni Council, I will tell you just to reach out to Alex. You can ping her in the chat that's here on Zoom, and she will take your name down. We've got this giant class rolling in, and we have been working probably all year to try to pull these names in. Darren French from the class of 2019, Tommy Love from the class of 98, Heather Jenkins-Brazel, and Gary, her husband, the class of 93. They just keep coming back. There are people on the council that we just sort of push off for a year and they roll back on. We thank them for that. Chelsea Curitin Owens from the class of 93, Tiffany Orange from 93, Mark English from the class of 91, Jennifer Woodward from the class of 91, Lisa Rich from the class of 90, Tara Trent Jones, class of 88, and Eric Cronewetter from the class of 1994. Thank you all for what you're about to do to serve. This is a really exciting time actually to be on the council, as there's lots of things in motion. And as we pull out of this pandemic, it'll be really exciting to get some more things done in 2021 and 22. We appreciate your service even before you get fully started. And now, Mr. Stanton Kettle's on the phone to get us started with this virtual live auction. I want you to be rather careless as this auction begins, right? Because this is a fundraiser. This is not a time to exhibit your frugality. It is not a time to be thinking about the bills you might have to pay on Monday. This is a fundraiser. I want you to come on out, sort of forget yourselves and bid like mad. Thanks so much. Stan, you ready?
Yes.